Hey everyone, welcome back. It's been a long time since I've made a Mesa video. Besides some ballistic bullseye shenanigans I showed once upon a time with Cedo and Tenet Envoy back when it gave flat status chance to projectiles, and now gives flat crit chance instead. It actually got buffed overall, but besides that, the last truly unique Mesa showcase I had was our World Shatter Mesa from the start of 2022. That showcased the way on how to turn every single hit scan pistol in the game into a Slash machine. Stuff like Slash proc gaze, which was what an Impact Nuclear dreamt it could be. That interaction was patched almost a year later, and has finally been laid to rest alongside Bing Chilling Chroma. Today, we have another brand new interaction for Mesa again. It's less obscure and more simple this time. However, it does require new gear and Incarnon gear that you may not have. You can scratch it off the list again if you don't have the ceramic Dagger Incarnon. While not mandatory, it makes this much easier to pull off with minimal effort. What are we doing today? We are multiplying our Mesa's final damage output by roughly 1.5 times for free. By doing nothing else special in mission, you just go in and do 1.5 times more damage. The exact amounts range between 1.46 to 1.69 times damage, depending on effort and assuming you're using ceramic Dagger. Secondary Outburst is a pistol arcane that came with Duviri's second patch. It was added to the Undercroft extra portals and drop tables, and thus is the only way to farm them besides it popping up in a Cretius shop or Steel Path Circuit's reward table. This arcane consumes all melee combo when you pull out your secondary, granting an equivalent mod crit buff. It states it grants crit chance. This is incorrect. It actually grants crit damage. It also grants 1 stack per combo multiplier present. Unlike Blood Rush and Weeping, which grant 1 stack per combo multiplier above 1, Outbursts grants 1 stack per combo, including 1. However, it will not grant stacks until you reach at least 2 times combo, and this means it always grants at least 2 stacks and grants 12 stacks at 12 times combo. This is basically a heavy attack, but for pistols. Interestingly, this is a universal secondary buff. Not only does it affect the pistols it's equipped on, but it also affects exalted pistols, namely today's Regulators, or you could use it on Hildren's Balefire, but that's a juicy plus 144% crit damage to your exalteds at 12 times. Also, no heavy efficiency mods do not work with this arcane. But since it consumes your melee combo when you pull out your secondary, it must be somewhat annoying to build, right? That's where Ceramic Dagger Incarnon comes in. Gun and Blade grants up to 100 initial combo permanently until death. 1 per kill with any gun in your arsenal, including kills done by Regulators, so you gain gun and blade stacks by just playing Mesa the way you always do. After 100 kills, your ceramic can now reach up to 146 combo Rivenless by stacking Covert Lethality and Corrupted Charge. That's equivalent to 8 times combo, granting plus 96% critical damage. Adding that critical damage onto regs is always at least a 1.46 times damage increase, so even if you do nothing and just kill enemies with Regulators without ever pulling out your special ceramic, you will still eventually reach 146 initial combo and permanently have plus 96% crit damage on your Regulators every single time your Epitaph is pulled out. The buff lasts 15 seconds and refreshes to a stronger buff if stacks are not maxed. Otherwise, the timer will not refresh, but it does last 15 seconds and is thus easy to work with. If you don't want to use Ceramic Dagger, you can use any melee you want that can build combo insanely fast. Do keep in mind that while Outburst is essentially a heavy attack for pistols to get extra crit buffs, the combo consumed from your melee is unaffected by heavy attack efficiency and will always drain 100% of your combo, which is why Ceramic Dagger is so useful with its Gun and Blade perk for a bonus plus 100 initial combo. With the right Riven, you can push this even higher up to roughly 180 to 200 combo bracket for 10 times combo, but I wouldn't recommend doing this since the difference between a Rivenless 8 times combo build and a 12 times combo is just buffing Mesa's final damage by 1.46 times to 1.69 times. I would recommend to bringing an Epitaph since Regulators can hit anything within line of sight of 50 meters that isn't too far below or above you. An AoE primer works perfectly to spread viral, and since you're gonna have to pull it out anyways to activate secondary outbursts for the crit damage buffs. A generic viral radiation build is a good mix of priming and crowd control, while also shield regen is necessary for longer sets if you cast abilities. And Outburst, of course, in the Arcane slot. The Ceramic Dagger is built for full attack speed, range, initial combo, and bonus combo count chance. This makes it as easy as possible to hit 12 times combo if desired, but if you're fine with just 146 combo from Gun and Blade combined with Covert Lethality and Corrupt Charge, then you can use a more normal DPS build on Ceramic if you have a reason to pull it out, namely say for killing Acolytes, but your primary weapon slot is also open, do remember that. I would refer you to check out and picking one of the builds from my Ceramic Dagger guide if you wanted to double as a DPS tool and not a combo support. Otherwise, if you don't even swing this weapon, the 146 initial combo will still be enough to grant massive buffs to Mesa. The primary doesn't matter, and thus you can use whatever you want. Rhoda is even an option, but normally I recommend to slot something to take Acolytes out when they spawn in, such as a Brahma. This is your free weapon slot in the loadout, so make it count and does what it's supposed to. Focus School is not too important since we're relying on the initial combo perks of Ceramic. Combo duration is not super important, and Ceramic already had a free slot for body count anyways. Otherwise, Matara and Airmon would be convenient picks here either for fast casting speed or just comfy melee combo timers. But how about Mesa herself? This is where I can show my general purpose Mesa. Do keep in mind you can use whatever helmet you want, but I use Eclipse for ease of use. This is not an endurance Mesa, nor is it a purpose-built Mesa. It's meant to just clear everything up to base steel path. This is the Mesa I use in relic runs, it's also the Mesa I use in bounties, and it's also the same one I use for Duviri, Liches, Sisters, and even Archons. It's just a simple Eclipse setup with 200 strength, as this is the strength breakpoint where I stand to gain more DPS from using a primed Bane instead of Hornet Strike. This is because strength works like base damage on regulators, but strength appears 3 times in the regulators damage equation, whereas actual base damage mods only appear once, diluting their intended scaling. If you want extra survivability, you can drop Vigorous Swap for Umbral Vitality. Vigorous Swap only activates for 3 seconds when you pull out your Peacemakers, and is thus a just small bonus rather than being super important. Adaptation with Shatter Shield grants you roughly 98.5% total damage reduction. With Umbral Vitality for extra health cap, it's very hard to die. This build is not intended for longer runs, or face stacking constant damage. For that I would recommend building some range and using the Muzzle Flash Augment, since that even bypasses Overguard to crowd control Xmas units. Alternative helmet choices include Pillage for status cleanse and shield regen. The Regulators are a standard crit corrosive heat build. I do not use Guncio because strength is calculated as base damage on Mesa. Strength also appears 3 times in the Regulators damage equation, whereas actual base damage mons, like I said earlier, only appear once, making them less valuable than normal compared to strength. Build does not change, because crit damage is the hardest stat to come by, and is still worth a double stack and prime target cracker with a secondary outburst scaling. Otherwise, my fire rate comes from anemic agility and arcane velocity on Mesa herself for plus 120%. Primed Bane dips only once for 1.55 times higher damage here. You have the option to replace it with Hornet Strike if you really want to. Cheers! If this is your first time watching, feel free to leave a like or better yet, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. 79.5% of you are not subscribed. I'm trying my best to get you new information out always as soon as possible, like I've been doing with Duviri's updates. Stick around if you want to see interesting memes and builds on a nearly daily basis. You don't want to miss out on any of that, do you? That'll be it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.